Hi, my name's Kelley Ewing, and I work at the Library of Virginia. I'm a cataloger with the Virginia Newspaper Project. And since 1993, the Virginia Newspaper Project has worked to collect, preserve, and make accessible Virginia newspapers. And today I'm really excited to show you some of the great digital newspaper resources that the Library of Virginia has to offer. So I'm just going to share my screen here with you. And today I'm going to show you Virginia Chronicle. This is the Library of Virginia's digital newspaper repository. It's free to use. There's no subscription necessary. Just type in virginiachronicle.com and you're ready to do your research. This is the home page of Virginia Chronicle. On the left, there's always this kind of revolving front page. In the middle here, there's a basic search window if you want to start your search there. There's a couple of helpful links here below. We have the number of pages here on Virginia Chronicle, which is now over 2 million. That number should continue to grow quite a bit in the next year. We'll be adding several new titles, including the Richmond Free Press and the Richmond Virginian, along with several other titles. There's also a link to the Library of Virginia. And one thing I like to remind people is that not nearly everything in our collection has been digitized. So if there's a title that you're really interested in finding that you're not finding in one of these databases that I show you, this Newspapers in Virginia Bibliography is a really nice tool to search the newspaper collection, to search our microfilm and original newspaper collection. I'll just show you that very quickly. You can search by county, city, state. We have lots of out-of-state newspapers and even foreign imprints, or you can search by title. I'm just going to show you an example. If you'd like to see everything that was published in Albemarle County, you enter Albemarle and then hit search by county, and it shows you a list of everything that was published in Albemarle that we have in the collection. And this is a really nice database because it not only shows you the holdings of the Library of Virginia, but it also shows you the holdings of VCU, Virginia Union University, William and Mary, Virginia Tech, the Virginia Museum of History and Culture, and UVA, among a few other larger institutions. So you can see microfilm held by, originals held by. If we click on that Library of Virginia, it shows you what our holdings are. So that's a really nice tool if there's something that you're not finding that you're looking for. There's also a link to the Virginia Newspaper Project to get a little more information about who we are, and a link to the Library of Virginia's Uncommonwealth blog here. On the right, you can browse by title or date. That is exactly the same as the title and date tabs up here on the left, and I'll show you those in just a moment. And then here we have some text correction community statistics, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. So this is the homepage of Virginia Chronicle. I want to take you, if you'd like to do a more advanced search, you click the search tab. I already have a few up here. So if you'd like to search a phrase like a name or something, multiple words exactly a certain way, you would put those in quotations. Here I have John Mitchell Jr.'s name in quotations. He was the editor of the Richmond Planet. So this is going to search everything where you find John Mitchell Jr. exactly as that's written. Here to the right, you just click this button to do your search. You can also limit your search by day, month, and year. In this case, I've actually limited my search to just years 1900 to 1920. You can search so that your search summaries come up as just text. I actually chose images because that shows you a little snippet of the page, and sometimes I like to see what the page looks like. So when I did a search of John Mitchell Jr. from 1900 to 1920, I got 3,524 results. Here are our results, and they're listed 20 per page. We have 5 pages of results. One thing I like to do whenever I'm looking at my results is I like to sort them by date, and you can do that over here on the right with the sort by button. And I just do oldest first. You can also sort them by catalog, by title, if that's something that you're interested in doing, but I like to sort mine by date generally. And then over here on the left, this is a really nice thing. This shows you how many times your search term showed up in each title. So our search term of John Mitchell Jr. showed up in the Richmond Planet 3,252 times, showed up in the Alexandria Gazette 85 times, and so on. And if I wanted to isolate one of those titles, I could just click on that and isolate that title. So like if I want to see what they were talking about in the Times Dispatch, I could just click the Times Dispatch and it would show me those. If I want to get rid of that criteria, I just click back on that Times Dispatch button, and that'll take me back to my original search. So there we are, back to our original search. It also breaks it down by how many times it shows up in different places of publication, and it breaks it down by decade, which is really nice. So if you want to see everything that was, put out between 1910 and 1919, you can do that by just clicking here. So once you've found the article that you'd like to see, you just click on the page here, and that takes you to the page, and you can just move the page around with your search term highlighted. You can zoom in and out here on the right, or just by scrolling in and out with your mouse. So this is the next search result. This is the next issue. You can also give yourself a little more space here by choosing this little blue box, or make it smaller. Once you're registered in Virginia Chronicle, once you become a registered user, which you do that by clicking over here to the upper right-hand corner, and the only information you need is an email address and username, you can right-click and create a PDF of the page. But you do have to be a registered user in order to do that. Now over here on the left, what we're seeing is the OCR'd text of this newspaper. And what that means is the optical character recognition software, OCR software, that reads the newspaper page and translates the page into this searchable text. That's what we're seeing here on the left. It's basically like a Word document that the software read the newspaper page and it translated it over here on this left-hand side. Now you can see this OCR text does not look great. It depends on the image of the original newspaper. If the original newspaper looks really clear and sharp, the OCR text here on the left is going to be very good. If it's not as sharp, if there are some breakages in the text, or if it's blurry or dark or kind of crowded, it's going to give you strange results over here on the left. As a registered user, one thing you can do is correct that text and make it better and more accurate, so that when people are doing searches, this OCR text will be better. And there's a lot more information about that in this text correction tab. So that is how you do a search. If you want to go back, you just scroll back and you're back at your list. And I wanted to show you a few other ways of searching. You can also search multiple names if you like, with a Boolean search. So here I have John Mitchell Jr. and Maggie Walker. You can see that that makes my results come way down to 15. You can search multiple Boolean searches. Like here I have John Mitchell Jr. in quotes, and Richmond, and newspaper, not bank. So by putting not bank in that, it should find the things with John Mitchell, Richmond, and newspaper on the page, but not the word bank. So that gives me actually 1,033 results down here, you can see. There's another really neat way to search, and that's by putting something in quotes and then using this little tilde symbol, which is in the upper left-hand corner of your keyboard, and then a number. I put the number 5. You can put whatever number you'd like to put there. That will search those 3 words when they are within 5 words of each other. So that's a nice search to do as well. Here, this little question mark here on the right, that gives you all of the different ways you can search. So if I'm going through this too fast and you can't remember how to do a certain search, this is a really helpful tool to show you how to do different kinds of searching. And that's this little question mark, or this help key also gives you the search information. The help also talks about the optical character recognition, which is what I was talking about earlier. So another feature of Virginia Chronicle is that you can look at a list of the titles here. And this is all of the titles on Virginia Chronicle. We have over 300 titles now. And if you want to skip to a letter, you just click the letter at the top of the page and it'll take you down to that particular letter. We also have over 100 Civilian Conservation Corps newspapers. on Virginia Chronicle, those are listed separately. So if you'd like to see a list of those, just because there are so many of them, just go down to the C's, to the Civilian Conservation Corps, and that lists all of those CCC newspapers. There is also a drop-down menu that lists different genres of newspapers. The CCC is there: African American newspapers, agricultural newspapers, student newspapers. If you'd like to see a list of those, you just click on that particular thing and it takes you to a list of all of the African American newspapers or whatever genre you're interested in finding. If you click on the title, that takes you to a list of years. The months highlighted in blue are the months that we have in our collection. So I'll click on July 1886. That takes you to this calendar view. Then you click on the title, and that actually takes you to the title. And there is the Afro-American Churchman from July of 1886. So everything is also listed by date. So we have everything from 1787 until up to close to the present. If there's a particular time period that you're interested in, this is a really nice feature. I always like to show the Titanic. If that's, you know, a topic that you're interested in, you could just go to that date and see what the newspapers reported. So these are all of the dates these are all of the newspaper titles that were out on April 16th of 1912. If we look at, say, the Times Dispatch, we can go to that particular title and we'll see that headline about the Titanic. Everything on Virginia Chronicle is also listed by place of publication. So if there's an area, a geographic area of interest that you have, you can look at this list of the places of publication and see what you might find from a particular city. There's a map as well. You can click on one of these dots and it'll provide a link to that title. Everything in red is CCC newspapers. Everything in blue is other newspapers. So that's why there are red and blue tabs on the map. This text correction page gives much more information if that's something that you're interested in helping out with. It talks about text correction. It talks about how to do text correction. In the middle here, these are pages that people have started text correcting, and it gives you the percentage of completion that they're at. So that's kind of neat. And then over here to the right, it lists the top 100 text correctors. So you can see some of these people in the top range here have done quite a bit of text correction. Deja News has done 356,000 lines of text correction. So that is wonderful, and that is really helpful. Here is a link to our blog, and here's the help feature once again, which talks about all of the different things that I went over today. Really feel free to contact us anytime and, you know, start researching. And I hope this was helpful. Thanks a lot.